Buffy Handel ist eine preisgekrönte Künstlerin und Unternehmerin aus Winnipeg in Kanada. Sie ist Gründerin und Leiterin der Aboriginal School of Dance, die einzige indianische Tanzschule ihrer Art. Was willst du mit deiner Tanzschule erreichen?
I guess our main objectives within the dance studio is to always find innovative ways to ensure that we're bringing the traditional or Native American teachings forward through different sounds, different dance movements, to be able to express that multiculturalism and be able to have people see or view and learn about Native American culture through all art forms.
Wie finanzierst du deine Arbeit in Winnipeg?
We are actually not financed by anybody. This is all self-sustaining. So through our performances, through our tours, we do all of that self-sustaining. So we don't get financed from anybody.
Welche sind zurzeit deine 3 wichtigsten Projekte?
I think currently right now being able to build on more festivals that reach on a more worldwide level, but being also to have the ability to make that connection culturally, finding more similarities rather than differences within cultures. So I think that if I were to think of some major significant projects, that would be one of them. The other one would be being able to master the art of literature as well, so that we can break out into mainstream. We want to be in an everybody box as opposed to just not only Native people. The third objective is to ensure the longevity of the Aboriginal School of Dance. So we're actually working on a big expansion and moving into a much larger facility.
Was ist das Besondere an deiner Tanzschule?
I think that when it comes to the difference between us and other dance studios is that we try to cater to the best that we can dealing with Aboriginal culture. So being able to focus on the humanity of being Aboriginal is first and foremost. Being human is first and foremost. And then secondly, being able to offer those extra resources to people that really want to enhance their learning ability of Native American culture. Being able to bring the two together so that people feel safe, being who they are personally, and then learning something really wonderful, and maybe even just having an open mind and a new way of looking at life.
Über welche Erfolge freust du dich besonders?
I'd say probably the biggest accomplishment for me running the Aboriginal School of Dance is seeing how it can change people's lives. We've had people come in with health problems. We've had people come in with mental problems or learning disabilities, or even just dealing with not knowing who they are inside, and being able to transcend into everything that they want to be, developing a sense of pride, but also learning how to live amongst everybody else, regardless of the nationality, and just finding a peace within inside themselves.
Wie viele Schüler hast du zurzeit und wie alt sind diese?
It depends. In the summer, it usually drops down because of the season. Nobody's in school in Canada. And being able to have a wide array of different ages is always part of our mandate as well, because we have 9-month-olds. So as soon as they can start walking, they're a part of it. If anything, we actually had a student of ours that was deaf, and he was only crawling yet. And he took part in the drumming of all things, but he was reacting to the vibrations of the big Native American drum. And so he was able to learn how to do the drumming and learning about the dancing as soon as he was able to walk. But we've had a wide array of ages. The oldest student that I ever had was 93 years old. And so that's one thing that I like about Aboriginal culture, is that there is literally a place for everybody. It does not matter your ethnicity, and it does not matter how old or how young, or if you have a disability or if you don't have a disability. Currently right now we're averaging about 50, but we are, because of our expansion, we're boosting up to approximately 200 students.
Was wünschst du dir für die Indianer Nordamerikas?
Well, I think that for Native American people, if there was an ideal world in my brain, it's being able to find a positive place where Native American people can fit in balance. And going back into history, dealing with what the warriors and the medicine leaders, when colonization was first happening, the number one thing that they ever wanted in the whole fight for what they originally wanted was for humanity and equality to be existing in North America. And through my job and through my ability and through my gifts, I try to always work and ensure that that continues to happen.
Was müsste dafür passieren?
I think that what is necessary for this to happen is, the more that we focus on humanity and build projects that build better partnerships, not only in Canada but also throughout the world, it can create a higher impact. The more that we can get more people to focus on the learning and of the special parts of what being Native American is, or believing in Native American culture. What does that mean? And it's always constantly focusing on the humanity. What is the whole life purpose of us being on this earth?
Aus welchen Kulturen kommen deine Schüler?
We have such a wide variety of different cultural groups. We have anywhere from Native to half French, half Native. We have half German and half Native. We've had Pakistani, we have Caucasian, we have Asian students. So we do have a multitude of an array. And partly what it has to do with is that we don't just offer Aboriginal dancing. What we like to do is, whenever we're motivated and inspired by another culture, we like to bring the special things or the special movement or the special music about that culture and be able to bring the two cultures together. So it is important for us that we learn about another culture's dance form before we actually start creating something like choreography that can be viewed by a multitude of different cultures.
Wie bist du darauf gekommen, deine Tanzschule für verschiedene Kulturen zu gründen?
I think that for me, what it had to do with was because I'm also half German. That inspiration was, it was instilled in me ever since I was little. Even the way that I look, I definitely don't look 100% Native American. And so for me, to be able to identify my parents brought me up knowing that I was half German and, being able to speak German in a sense, and then also creating that balance of being able to speak my Native American tongue language, where, when I was younger, it was a balance between the two. And that was my original inspiration, is how do young people like me see the value in not only who they are, but see the value in the rest of the world? Because this world is becoming such a big blend of so many cultures and subcultures that it was important that, children especially, and elders and adults can walk through life being able to understand that they are special for exactly who they are, and should be able to be willing to accept everything that they are, because there's beauty everywhere.
In welchem Alter hast du selbst mit Tanzen begonnen?
My original inspiration into dance and the age that I started training was actually at the age of 14. There was a lot of things that I knew about Native American ways of life, which was, for example, the way that I grew up was a very, very traditional type of background and way of life. But the dance didn't come until I was in my teens. And as soon as I had that opportunity to start training in dance, I completely enthralled myself into it. It was something that I ate, it was something that I dreamt, something that I felt. It consumed me. And so from there, I always wanted to be a performer, and being able to express something that is so deeply embedded into your heart allows you to move forward. And how do you do that? Establish yourself as a professional performer.
Hast du ein Vorbild?
I wouldn't necessarily say role models. Role models to me is like it creates a narrow way of looking at things. I try to find that anybody that ever makes me feel good about what I'm doing and anybody that can make me feel good about what they're doing, I would consider a role model. So to identify one or two, I would say wouldn't be fair, and I wouldn't be the person that I was if I thought that way. So to identify only one role model, it doesn't exist for me.
Wer waren deine wesentlichsten Lehrer?
The people that have impacted my life the most was probably my grandparents on both sides, both my German side and my native side, and the two monumental people that continue to reinstill the values in which my grandparents have are my mom and my dad. My dad is a very swift, very wise man, and always continues to want me to be the best that I possibly can be, which is what we consider kind of a joke around as the very German way of life. And then my mom, she's very soft, very kind-hearted, and I think that when you are in the line of work that I'm in, which is to be the Aboriginal School of Dance, to be able to work and take people serious, but also always want the best out of that person, really allows that person to learn well. But to be able to create that balance of Native American culture, which is what my mom teaches, is to always love, to always believe in the goodness and kindness of others, and to nurture that and to love that. When you bring the two together, it creates an impeccable amount of healing and wonder for the rest of the world.
Du hast vor kurzem eine Auszeichnung von der Königin Elisabeth im Rahmen ihres diamantenen Jubiläums für deine Arbeit in Kanada erhalten. Der Premier Manitobas überreichte dir diese im Juni 2013. Was wurde damit anerkannt und was bedeutet dir diese Ehre?
I think that the recognition could mean different things. For my definition of what I was being acknowledged for was the amount of work that I dedicate and really creating or paving a new way of Native American art. There is so much more about Native American people that people just don't see yet, and which are the origins, which are probably the most powerful things that people should know. And I work very hard to be able to do that. And so with this medal, I seen this as an opportunity to gain more ground. So it wasn't necessarily just the acknowledgement that I really enjoyed or that I appreciated. It was more everything that I do. If there's an acknowledgement publicly, this in return allows me to give more power to the students or to the people that I cater to. It creates more of a belief system, and so I very greatly accepted the medal. And I think that if, at the end of the day, what it means to me, the only thing that it means to me is that it allows me to give more power to the people that I surround myself with, whether that be in Germany or whether that be in Canada or being in the middle of nowhere. It's to know what kind of ground that you walk on. If you walk on a very powerful ground, then you have proof, right? So that's what the medal means to me.
Was denkst du über einen Besuch und Auftritte in Deutschland?
Definitely 100%. I can see it. I definitely wouldn't be taking the steps forward to ensure that possibility. I have traveled to every single continent. I have at one point, or actually a couple of points, have been in Germany before, but never to do the things that I'm doing currently, which has always been a goal of mine. A personal experience that I had was dealing with not necessarily always having the opportunity to visit my Oma and my Opa in Germany before they passed away. I wanted to show them what I was and what I have become. I wanted them to see as much of them in me as I was, or that I am. And unfortunately, I was not given that opportunity. And for a very long time, I was upset at the fact that I could not show my Oma and my Opa the person that I had become, and it was through them. I have the same blood as them, and I wanted to have the opportunity, and before they passed away. And what I quickly realized after I created that balance of Native American culture was that they left their shell behind, and they were now in spirit, and there was nothing in this world that could ever separate me from my Oma and my Opa. Continents cannot separate us. My Oma and my Opa are now in my heart, and they follow me everywhere, and they are in my blood, they are in my vision. And so to be able to complete my original goal from when I was a little bit younger, to be able to go into Germany and be able to show the rest of Germany what I have inside of my heart, and how I'm able to create that balance between being half German and half Native American. This would be a monumental step, not only for me, but also to help pave that way and open a very beautiful doorway.